of the audio tape Introduction to the Nature of Nature. Paragraph 1. Listen to reason. The repeats of this information found in this literature are intentional for the purposes of clarity, memory drill, and emphasis on the points having already been made. This information I am about to read is a series of questions and answers designed to impart vital liberation information to the African race and those who listen and learn. And this vital information is called Introduction to the Nature of Nature. Introduction to the Nature of Nature is likewise known as Noone, which is the science of sound right reason. Let it be known. Question. Who is the reader of this presentation? Paragraph 2. Listen to reason. The reader of this correct information is NoopooH, and I am one of the chief representatives of Afroo Oonoo, NoopooH, and Noone. And for the benefit of the listening audience, NoopooH is spelled N-U-B-I-I and R-E-P-O-O. And NoopooH is indeed a member of the African race, also called the Ethiopian race. And for the benefit of the reading public, the name NoopooH is pronounced NoopooH. Of course, all us kinky-haired people are racial relatives by race and nature. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question. Who is the writer of this presentation? Paragraph 3. Listen to reason. The writer of this correct information is Afroo Oonoo, who is the philosopher, writer, and messenger of NoopooH and Noone. And for the benefit of the listening audience, Afroo Oonoo is spelled A-F-R-O-O and O-O-N-O-O. Afroo Oonoo is originally from the Sudan in motherland Africa, and he definitely is a member of the African race, also called the black race. You personally need to know the writer of this positive knowledge, not nearly so much as you need to know this correct information he has written. And for the benefit of the reading public, the name Afroo Oonoo is pronounced Afroo Oonoo. The writer repeats, all us kinky-haired people are racial relatives by race and nature. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question. Who is NoopooH and what is Noone? Paragraph 4. Listen to reason. For the benefit of the listening audience and the reading public likewise, the name NoopooH is spelled N-O-O-P-O-O-H and pronounced Noopoo. The H is silent and capitalized. In American English dictionaries and ancient philosophy, Noopooh is spelled N-O-U-S and pronounced Nous. Noopooh is the cosmic reason, also called sound right reason and nine reason. And Noone, which is spelled N-O-O-N-E and indeed pronounced Noone, is the science of sound right reason, who is definitely the best mind of the one supreme being. NoopooH is surely the original prime mover and original creator of the universes and the original person, places, and things thereof. NoopooH is the first emanation of the one supreme being, that is to say, the creative powers of nature who threw the universes of nature into creation order. Therefore, NoopooH, sound right reason, is indeed also the resurrector of the mental dead, those who are ignorant about the positive knowledge of absolute nature and its laws. Let it be known. Paragraph 5. Listen to reason. The ethereal science of sound right reason is Noone for sure, and Noone is also the science of liberation for the mental dead. Noone is the truth and the science of mental resurrection and liberation from adverse forces, because it deals in correct information and imparts vital knowledge to those who are ignorant about the nature of laws of, and requirements of the one supreme being by whom we all survive and have our existence and consciousness. Like Noopoo is the ethereal powers of Noone, Noone is the ethereal science of Noopoo, who deals in beginnings and endings of persons, places, and things, and their development and declination. Noone is the ethereal question and answer science. Therefore, it does not just make for beautiful words, but likewise provides positive knowledge for survival, liberation, and better living, plus the knowledge people need to know for mental food and mental growth. Noone is the nature of nature in words of knowledge and positive. Please let it be known. Question. Can one define and identify the one supreme being? Paragraph 6. Listen to reason. Yes, the one supreme being is nature absolute, meaning nature whole and complete. The one supreme being is absolute nature who is infinite in all directions and eternal. Of course, infinite means endlessness in space, and eternal means endlessness in time, as well as having no beginning. There are many gods, but only one supreme being, and that is omnipotent, omnipotent, omniscient nature, also known as the all in all. Absolute nature is all space, all matter, and all time, and the three are one and inseparable. Absolute nature is all persons, all places, and all things, past, present, and future. Let it be known. Paragraph 7. Listen to reason. Of course, all space is endless vacuum, emptiness, and nothingness in all directions. All matter is endless somethingness and occupant of space in all directions. And all time is endless continuity and keeper of the existence of all space and all matter in all directions. Therefore, the true definition of matter is anything and everything that occupies space, and the true understanding of this definition of matter does mean that all spirit beings, gods, and goddesses who exist must be parts of absolute nature and may be called the angels of the one supreme being. The one supreme being exists by opposites, called nothingness, which is indeed vacuum, and something is known as matter, controlled by energy or brain newts and reason, and instincts and characteristics known as laws and cycles. Let it be known. Question. Who and what are reason and the creator? Paragraph 8. Listen to reason. Reason is a supreme entity produced by brain. Brain newts grow brains, and brains produce thinking and reason. Brain newts are the gods in the matter of absolute nature, and they pervade all matter in one degree or another, and make all persons, places, and things related. Although brain newts can neither be seen with the naked eyes nor with a microscope, we can see with them, hear with them, smell with them, taste with them, and feel with them, emotionally and physically. Brain newts grow brains, who are their visible physical representatives, and this means that brain newts are mental, spiritual, and physical for all their practical purposes. Brains melt down brain newts into workable active energy called mind and mentality, part of whom may be reason. And reason is the active mind energy who creates all persons, places, and things, whether they be artificial or natural, while using other energies as well as reason himself and herself. Let it be known. Paragraph 9. Listen to reason. It is true that brain newts are magic and magnetic particles of matter. Brains are the medium of brain newts and reason or reasoning is the mental process of figuring something out, naturally or artificially, before anything can be created for the first time by whatever means. The form it will take and the formula for or material that will be used to constitute it must be decided. And the only one who can do this is reason. Of course, reason has different degrees and levels up to the cosmic reason. And the cosmic reason has opposites called nous, also known as NoopooH, and Zeus, also known as Logos. Nous exists in the top half of the existence circle and is the first prime mover, primary creator, and resurrectionist of the mental dead. Let it be known. Paragraph 10. Listen to reason. Logos exists in the bottom half of the circle of existence and is the second prime mover, secondary creator, and evolutionary processor of persons and things. For the benefit of the listening audience, Logos is spelled Logos. Noone is the ethereal science of NoopooH, and pantheism is the ethereal science of Logos. The life of the one supreme being is natural ether produced by the suns of the universes, and sound right reason, the liberator, is the best mind of that life, because it produces the positive best knowledge, understanding, and wisdom for persons and things, as well as being the creator of the universes of infinite eternal nature. Sound right reason is nous, also known as NoopooH, and reason includes male and female principles and energies as the opposites created. Let it be known. Question. Are there different levels of gods and goddesses? Paragraph 11. Listen to reason. There are 5 main levels of gods and goddesses of absolute nature, the one supreme being. First level, the brain-use gods and goddesses, who are in all matter of infinite nature in various degrees, and they are ethereal and produce brains. Brains produce reason, and reason produces entities and organisms, persons, and things by way of brain-use and brains. Brains are the highest quality of matter that can exist and are thereby the gods and goddesses in all matter at the highest level. Brains are spontaneous and efficacious, meaning they are automatic when conditions in nature call for movement, and they are able to do what is necessary to fulfill the requirements of their laws and cycles. Being microscopic and macroscopic means that brains can neither be seen with the microscope nor with the naked eyes, but we can see with it, taste with it, hear with it, smell with it, think with it, and feel with them emotionally and physically. Brains are magic and magnetic particles of matter who is nature's ultimate power, who do all creations through brains and reason. As a brain is formulated by brain use, reason develops and does its works. Let it be known. Paragraph 12. Listen to reason. There are many gods and goddesses, but only one supreme being, and that is absolute nature, infinite in all directions and eternal. The second level is the all gods and goddesses, who by way of brains and reason, 9 reason, grew the chaotic matter of absolute nature in the creation order. The all gods and goddesses are universe orbs and bodies like the stars, planets, and satellites of the universes, and the universes themselves. There are galaxies of universes of infinite nature, like there are galaxies of stars in the gigantic universes. Let it be known. Paragraph 13. Listen to reason. The third level is the spirit gods and goddesses produced by the brains of the universe orbs, such as the stars, planets, and satellites of the universes of eternal nature. The brains of universe orbs are located in their centers, and they produce spirit beings called original spirit gods and goddesses by brain concentration. And spirit beings multiplied by division, meaning male and female ether entity. Organisms divide part of themselves and unite those male and female parts and formulas into a single spirit organism or entity. Spirit gods and goddesses are programmers and controllers in absolute nature and may be called the angels of the one supreme being. Spirit beings do not physically create like brains and reason, but they do create good or evil conditions and spells and curses that control people's lives and also their welfare. Let it be known. Paragraph 14. Listen to reason. The fourth level of gods and goddesses is indeed the flesh and blood people who inhabit the top half of the smack circle of order during the time that the top half exists. The original flesh and blood gods and goddesses are born from the 9 ether clay womb of Mother Goddess Earth, which is next to her center and extends to the source of the Nile River in equatorial Africa. But these flesh and blood original people do not have sex intercourse until the evolution quarter of the smack circle of order begins. After evolution begins and these gods and goddesses procreate the African race by sex activities, they die out and become extinct by sinking into Mother Earth. But they return later as races of people and animals of nature. For more details about origins of persons and things, see other literature written by Afroo Oonoo entitled Introduction to the Nature of Nature and found in African American bookstores. Let it be known. Chapter 15. Listen to reason. The demigods and goddesses are the fifth level of the royalty and elite of absolute nature. A god is a male organism. Once created and organized, he never ceases to exist in one form and formula or another until the universes of nature disintegrate. And of course, a goddess is a female version of a god definition. A god and goddess are mental and spiritual and can become physical by incarnation or magic. Let it be known. Paragraph 16. Listen to reason. A demigod is a spirit god of lesser rank than an original spirit god, and he was procreated by spirit-to-spirit reproduction, and the same goes for a demigoddess in the female sense. An original spirit god or goddess is one who was created by brain concentration at the center of a universe orb. A different level of the demigod category is when a spirit god or goddess become an incarnation or reincarnation by entering a human being and dilating himself or herself throughout the physical body, including the head of that person, and other different lesser levels of semi-godhood can be created if that infinite god or goddess has offspring with other incarnations or reincarnation, or with chosen by nature human beings. Let it be known. Paragraph 17. Listen to reason. Nature royalty is determined by blood lineage flowing from the incarnations of gods and goddesses and the kinship of demigods and goddesses to their ancestry. If a person is a natural-born king, a natural-born queen, a natural-born priest, or a natural-born heathen, by nature, he or she learns of it in the proper place and at the proper time. Because these people are royalty of nature and thereby obligated to learn and practice positive nature knowledge, including the laws and also standards of nature, and be able to lead people in the right direction. These facts are especially true now that the moon cycle and evolution have ended and the sun cycle and revolution have begun. Let it be known. Question. Who is the African race and what is our spiritual science? Paragraph 18. Listen to reason. The African race is the direct descendant of the original flesh and blood gods and goddesses who existed in the top half of the smack circle of order during the time that the top half existed. And these gods and goddesses sexually procreated the African race before they became extinct. That is to say, before they died out, but metamorphosed into other persons and things after death. This writer can truly call kinky-haired people the African race because the gods and goddesses who produced us were born from the source of the Nile River in equatorial Africa, whereas the progenitors of other human races originated from the waters of Indonesia. The African race is all people who grow genuinely kinky hair on their heads by nature. The African race, also called the Ethiopian race and the black race, has kinky hair because the gods and goddesses who sexually reproduced us had kinky hair. Let it be known. Paragraph 19. Listen to reason. The true spiritual science of the African race is called Noone. Noone was also mentioned in these writings, and for the benefit of the listening audience and reading public again, Noone is definitely spelled N-O-O-N-E and pronounced Noone. Noone is the science of sound right reason, which is the philosophy and mind of the original creator called Noopooh, the first emanation of the one supreme being. For the benefit of listeners and readers again, Noopooh is spelled N-O-O-P-O-O-H and pronounced Noopooh. The H is silent and capitalized. Noone is the ethereal science of the Ethiopian race because it was the science of the original flesh and blood gods and goddesses who procreated us Africans before they died out and became other beings. Moreover, Noopooh and Noone are the positive powers and science of the one supreme being, and therefore are the powers who must resurrect the mental dead from their grave of ignorance about absolute nature and its laws. Let it be known. Paragraph 20. Listen to reason. Like all human races, the African race has two sides, the negative and the positive. The positive side of the Ethiopian race requires sound right reason, Noopooh, and the science of sound right reason, Noone, for survival, long alive, and better living. Noone is the Ethiopian race science of all the world. Noone deals in origins, beginnings, positive knowledge, positive understanding, and positive wisdom, whose source is Noopooh, the first emanation and cosmic power of the one supreme being. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question. What is truth and who is the mental dead? Paragraph 21. Listen to reason. Truth is knowledge, and knowledge is correct information. Truth is correct information about any person, place, or thing, whosoever or whatsoever. Truth is not confined just to religion or spiritual science. It can be knowledge or correct information about anything. But the particular truth that the mental dead and those persons in mental, spiritual, and physical captivities need is truth about absolute nature and the laws of nature needed for mental, spiritual, and physical life and security. People need to know their origins and that of others and what is required by nature for survival, longer life, and better living, indeed in peace and harmony with each other. It is written that we shall eventually know the truth, and the truth will set us free. Noone is the kind of truth we all need for mental resurrection and liberation from adverse forces, such as one-sided racism, disease, poverty, and hunger as time progresses. Truth is knowledge, and knowledge is correct information. Therefore, truth is correct information. Noone is truth. Let it be known. Paragraph 22. Listen to reason. The mental dead are those persons who do not know the true origin of the universe, do not know the origin of his or her own ethnic race and that of other human races, do not know and accept that absolute nature is the one supreme being eternally, do not know and also practice enough positive knowledge about unique nature and its laws for true mental life and the practice of true culture, and do not know what needs to be known for survival of Armageddon and beyond. Just as some spirit beings are deader than others, some human beings are mentally deader than others. But positive nature knowledge is the medicine needed and required to cure nature ignorance that keep people in mental darkness, spiritual prison, and physical captivity. The positive powers called NoopooH and the positive truth known as Noone are required for resurrection from the grave of ignorance about positive nature knowledge and liberation from the prison of mental, spiritual, and physical captivities. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question. What does creating mean, and where is the creator? Paragraph 23. Listen to reason. Creating does not mean producing something from nothing, as many people believe or assume. Creating means producing, reproducing, building, manufacturing, constructing, forming, formulating, composing, constituting, concentrating, or growing persons, places, and things from matter or material already existing. Actually speaking, the same way the Creator creates persons and things today is the same way he and she created persons and things at the beginning of the universe order. And that is by growing them. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Paragraph 24. Listen to reason. Brain roots are the creator by way of brains and reason, and brain roots exist in all matter in various degrees. Brain roots are the prime mover in matter, and the prime mover is the first particle of matter to make the first move toward putting matter into creation order. The powers and energies of eternal nature are spontaneous and efficacious, meaning automatic, and able to do what is necessary and also desired. Brain roots are activated by the proper conditions for formulation and growth and the laws and cycles of nature, and they are motivated by the nature of the matter being used and the cycle in season. The one supreme being is the life of every living person and thing, because it is true that brain roots are in the water we drink, the food we eat, and the air we breathe. Brain roots are magic and magnetic particles of matter, and they are the gods in all matter of absolute nature. And in mentality, they become mind and reason. In spirit, they become natural ether and life. And in physiology, they become brains and light. The Creator is in all matter in one degree or another. And although we can neither see brain roots with the naked eye nor with a microscope, we can see, taste, feel, hear, smell, and think with it. Brain roots are magic and magnetic, spontaneous and efficacious particles of matter who are indeed the source of brains and reason, the ultimate creator, that is to say, the final creator. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question. What is a law and a cycle of nature? Paragraph 25. Listen to reason. A law of nature is a characteristic of nature and a standard of nature, meaning each time a certain condition arises in nature, nature acts or reacts the same way to that same condition, consistent. Another way to put it is the law of a person or thing is the nature of that person or thing. Therefore, the laws of nature are the nature of nature. If the atmospheric pressure decreases, the weather will become inclement, cloudy, or windy and rainy, or whatever. But when the atmospheric pressure increases, the weather becomes fair and sunny, etc. Another example of a law of nature is water will flow until it finds nature's level. These actions will happen the same way each time that conditions are the same, and these are laws of nature. Each time a person puts his or her naked hand to the fire, he or she will get burned constantly, unless some magic force intervenes. That is a law of nature, because a law of nature is consistent the same way under the same conditions. Let it be known. Paragraph 26. Listen to reason. Spirit beings cannot change the laws of nature permanently, but they can interfere with them temporarily for the aim of impressing people for some reason, helping people for some reason, or harming people for some reason. The cycle of nature is a network of laws of nature designed to complete a circuit of action. A network of cycles of nature is designed to complete a circle of action by degrees, like the circle of existence, also called the smack circle of order. Each circle degree of the smack circle of order completes a circuit of action, and a circle degree of the smack circle is 100,000 years. A degree cycle of 100,000 years has many lesser circles, which constitute the cycle. From birth until death is a cycle. When one sleeps until he or she wakes up is a cycle. When one works until he or she becomes exhausted is a cycle. And any meaningful change in these actions during their processes is a lesser cycle or circuit. To put it another way, laws of nature constitute cycles of nature. Cycles of nature constitute degrees of nature. And degrees of nature constitute circles of nature, as verified by the smack circle of order and universal orbs, such as stars, planets, and satellites, of eternal infinite nature. Let it be known. Question. What are two of the laws of nature which affect human beings most? Paragraph 27. Listen to reason. The law of pleasure and pain and the law of kindred and bloodline are two of the laws of nature which affect human beings most. The law of pleasure and pain maintains that pleasure must be offset or balanced off by pain, and pain will be balanced off by pleasure, because pleasure and pain are opposites in nature, and one must offset the other. For absolute nature is the gigantic system of opposites and balances. The foregoing information means that the less pleasure one has, the less will be his or her pain and suffering. The less fun one has, the less will be her problem and trouble. Also, the more pain one has, not due to pleasure, the more will be his or her comfort and joy. The more pain one has not due to pleasure, the more will be his or her pleasure and accomplishment. The following information will show how and why this law, the law of pleasure and pain, is linked directly to the second law, the law of kindred or kinship, mentioned in this paragraph. Let it be known. Paragraph 28. Listen to reason. A member of a species or race is only part of the whole, because the whole being of a species is the whole race. And this means what happens to one member of a race of beings has happened to the whole race, because the whole race is one by nature and heritage. The foregoing information is the basis for the law of kindred or bloodline in nature. If a member of a species or race does something good or evil or right or wrong, the whole race is responsible for the good deed done or punishable for the bad deed perpetrated until the deed is indeed balanced off by nature or its helpers directly upon the person having done the deed, a family member or a racial relative. This law means that you are surely your brother's keeper, as the old proverb goes. Everyone should be very careful about what he or she does, because by nature, if an individual himself or herself does not account for a deed done, a member of his family or his ethnic race will, because the deed must eventually be balanced off, and all members of the species are one. and the same by nature, due to the same heritage and bloodline originally. Let it be known. Question: can we reconstruct the past and construct the future? Paragraph 29. Listen to reason. Yes, the circle of existence, also called the circle of order, or the SMAT circle of order, allows those qualified to indeed review the past and look forward into the future. Sound right reason, NoopooH, the best mind of the one supreme being, absolute nature, and the proper contact with spirit beings who were there when past events happened, give one qualified the hindsight needed to reconstruct the past to the extent needed for mental order, and mind power necessary for mental life and nature education. The proper understanding of the SMAT circle of order gives one the insight needed to do the framework of origin and progression of the circle from one point or degree of the circle of order counterclockwise around on the circle and back to the same point at the beginning. To make a long story short, where the SMAT circle is concerned, the past is the future and the future is the past, in the sense that the circle of existence goes around and all persons, places, and things exist on the SMAT circle of order. Let it be known. Paragraph 30. Listen to reason. The word SMAT is the acronym, first letter of each word, for the words space, matter, and time. Therefore, the SMAT circle of order is same as saying the space, matter, and time circle of order. This order circle is 720 degrees because the top half of the circle is the zone of heaven and life, and bottom half is the zone of hell and also death. The two opposite halves exist in the same place, which is everywhere, but at opposite times. The SMAT circle is divided into 4 equal quarters by a vertical line and a horizontal line. The first quarter, the beginning quarter, is called revolution and is the bottom right quarter of the circle. The second quarter is called origination and is the top right quarter of the circle. The third quarter is called origination and is the top left quarter of the order circle, whereas the fourth quarter is the bottom left quadrant of the circle and is called evolution, which is the most negative quadrant of the whole SMAT circle of order. The SMAT circle of order rotates counterclockwise, opposite to the hands of a clock. Let it be known. Paragraph 31. Listen to reason. The evolution approach is only 1/4, the fourth quarter of the SMAT circle of order, and like the other 3 quarters, it is a time period of 18 millions of years. We never hear anything about the other 3 quarters of the great time circle because mundane scientists would have to deal with origins and progressions, which would start with conception and birth of the universes and the persons thereof, who was the progenitors of the African race, also called the Ethiopian race. And scientists of other ethnic races are not ready to admit definitely that the Ethiopian race was first on planet Earth and the original cultivators of the whole world. Whereas Caucasians do use the terms civilized and civilization, members of the African race must use the education words cultivate and cultivation, indeed, which alludes to true culture. Let it be known. Question. Was North America the wilderness we were taught, and were all so-called Negroes brought to America as slaves originally? Paragraph 32. Listen to reason. No, the original flesh and blood gods and goddesses who first inhabited planet Earth during the top half of the SMAT circle of order had visited and inhabited all land areas of Mother Earth before they became extinct and eventually metamorphosed into other peoples and animals. But before they died out and became other persons and also things, they sexually procreated the African race, also called the black race. And this is how it is true that members of the African race were on all land areas of Goddess Mother Earth before any other human race. Therefore, so-called Negroes inhabited North America long before the American Indians and taught the Aztecs of Mexico and the Incas of South America decorum and culture. This is why the head or bust of an African king or god was found in Mexico and other places in the Americas. Let it be known. Paragraph 33. Listen to reason. When Columbus was supposed to have discovered North America in 1492 AD, the Moors were sailing the seven seas with expertise in time immemorial. The Moors were members of the Ethiopian and Phoenician races who were masters of water and hydraulics, and thereby master seamen and master builders. It is written that members of the African race laid out Washington, D.C. Let it be known. Paragraph 46. Listen to reason. The orator or speaker and reader of this positive information is NoopooH, a chief representative of NoopooH and Noone, and I am an Ethiopian by race. The writer of this correct information is an Ethiopian or African by race likewise, and he is originally from the Sudan in motherland Africa, and his eastern name is Afroo Oonoo, the philosopher, writer, and messenger of nine-nature NoopooH. Indeed, the original prime mover and creator in the one supreme being called absolute nature, who is infinite in all directions and eternal. Eternal, of course, means never had beginning and can never end. Let it be known. Paragraph 47. Listen to reason. The beginning of Genesis of the Caucasian Bible, the King James Version, which most Afro-Americans are familiar with, says nothing about God making something from nothing. The idea of making something from nothing is a false assumption and a blind belief. Making something from nothing is impossible for any personal thing to do, no matter how powerful and mysterious he, she, or it may be. Creating definitely does not mean making something from nothing. It means producing or reproducing persons, places, and things from matter or material already existing. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Paragraph 48. Listen to reason. With this correct information is knowledge, this writer's intention is to introduce you to the nature of nature in words called Noone. People for hundreds and even thousands of years have desired to know more about and have relationships with the one supreme being, but did not really know who, where, and what it is. So this knowledge of almighty nature is our opportunity for enlightenment by way of NoopooH and Noone, the Ethiopian race, ethereal powers and science of all the world. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Paragraph 49. Listen to reason. There are many gods and goddesses. The sun god, earth god, moon god, underworld god, sea god, serpent god, etc. and their consorts. But only one supreme being, and that is absolute nature. Infinite in all directions and eternal. Absolute nature is all space, all matter, and all time in endlessness. Of course, all space is endless nothing, emptiness, and all vacuum in all directions. All matter is endless somethingness and endless occupancy or space in all directions. And all time is endless continuation of the existence of all space and all matter in all directions. Therefore, the true definition of matter is anything and everything that occupies space. Understanding this true definition of matter, one can readily and easily see that any God who exists has to be a part of absolute nature. Hence, gods do not create nature. Nature creates gods and goddesses. Let it be known. Paragraph 50. Listen to reason. This knowledge is correct information, is for the benefit of all human races in general, and the Ethiopian race in particular. One major reason why members of the Ethiopian race, all people who grow genuinely kinky hair on their heads by nature, have not been able to liberate ourselves from enemy forces is the need for our own power base, like our own philosophy. That is, our own spiritual science and our own way of life, also called true culture. The knowledge written here is part of our true culture in words, likewise called the science Noone. It is so that the science Noone is true culture and vice versa. Noone is the Ethiopian race science of all the world, and Noone is indeed the power base that the black race, the African race, needs for guidance and spiritual power in the name Noopoo. True culture, of course, is the way of life and death based upon nature and reason and the laws plus cycles thereof. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Paragraph 51. Listen to reason. Noone is the words of true culture and the science of sound right reason. And sound right reason is Noopoo, the original prime mover and creator of the universes of eternal nature. Sound right reason is the best mind and the original mind of the one supreme being known as omnipotent, omniscient nature. Sound right reason is now beginning to emanate from the centers of the true stars called the sun of the universes of absolute nature. You may also call sound right reason the cosmic reason and nine reason. Sound right reason Noopoo is called Nous and spelled N-O-U-S in American English dictionaries and ancient philosophers. Nous, Noopoo, is the first emanation of the one supreme being and the original prime mover of the universe. Be it known. Paragraph 52. Listen to reason. Moreover, spirit beings are forms of reason too, and the positive ones among them will help the Ethiopian race regain our true culture and way of life by nature. However, there are various degrees and various forms of reason and spirit beings, and those other degrees and levels too of reason and spirit beings are known and explained in the book entitled Introduction to the Nature of Nature, also written by Afroo Oonoo, the scribe and messenger of sound right reason known as Noopoo, the primary creator, which is same as saying primary growth. Of course, the way that nature creates is by growth, meaning by growing persons, places, and things into creation order. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Paragraph 53. Listen to reason. One main reason for the disclosure of this vital and correct information is knowledge, is to inform members of the Ethiopian race that it is time to embrace our own spiritual science and our own true culture in general. Members of the African race try to follow everyone else's philosophy and way of life because they do not know our own, or because the evil spells and curses from religion have taken away their reasonability to the point of no return to reason and reality. If a person is intelligent enough, he or she can mentally escape to the world of reason and reality, which is known, in spite of evil spells and curses from religion. The science Noone is the nature of nature in words of sound right reason and the laws and cycles of nature. Noone is in the positive nature of the black race. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Paragraph 54. Listen to reason. Knowing our identity in nature and by nature, and what nature requires of us for survival and well-being, and the practice of this knowledge will indeed in time set us free, mentally, spiritually, and physically. The knowledge of Voodoo, also called Voodooism, used to be a great science of the universe, but down through the negative forces of evolution, Voodoo decreased in reasonability and positiveness to the point of becoming merely a skeleton of itself. So what we Africans by race have to do is put the meat back on the bones. But instead of putting the meat back on the bones from the left side of the circle of existence, we must put the meat back on the bones from the right side of the existence circle, called absolute nature. As the circle goes upward on the right side from rock bottom. Let it be known. Paragraph 55. Listen to reason. Of course, by the word meat, in this case, the writer means positive knowledge and positive spirituality, as well as sound right reasonability and positiveness in general. Indeed, instead of working with spirits from the left side of the smack circle of order, let them be from the right side of the same circle. The left side spirits let the Ethiopian race descend into slavery and Tartarus, hell and Hades. It now takes the right side spirits of the smack circle of order to help us Ethiopians by race out of the captivity and Tartarus and back to liberation and freedom. Our type of freedom in our own type of society, which is Noone. Surely, those spirits who will work with NoopooH and Noone for our liberation from adverse forces are right side spirits. Ethiopians by race cannot put any confidence in the old gods and goddesses because they let us Africans by race down, although it was predestined to happen according to the smack circle of order. Let it be known. Paragraph 56. Listen to reason. The Ethiopian race, the African race, was indeed the first human race on planet Earth and was therefore at the top of the world in knowledge and power when evolution began. But since other ethnic races had to have their turn at ruling on planet Earth, this means that the ruling power of the Ethiopian race would have to decrease so that the ruling power of other ethnic races could increase. And the continuation of this process down through evolution meant the bottom of the totem pole of power for the African race at the end of evolution, which is now. So then, whatever mistakes we Africans make as an ethnic race that help cause our descent from ruling power and world respect were predestined by the smack circle of order via negative forces of evolution and nature. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Paragraph 57. Listen to reason. The correct information already given in this presentation answers the question why the gods and goddesses of Africa and Asia had to desert the African race while supporting others. However, the spirit gods and goddesses abandoning us is also why members of the Ethiopian race must start anew and recreate everything we need for survival and well-being, because regardless of what reason the gods and goddesses of Africa and Asia and even of the world had for deserting the Ethiopian race and watching us be demeaned and degraded by other ethnic races, we members of the black race need new energies and values of nature like new knowledge and new sound right reasonability in whom we can put our trust and confidence. Let it be known. Paragraph 58. Listen to reason. This scribe and messenger, Afroo Oonoo, who wrote this correct and positive information, has written several books entitled, Are You Searching for Knowledge? If so, read me, and Introduction to the Nature of Nature, Book 1 and Book 2. These books further introduce us to the nature of nature and give us a framework look at whom we Ethiopians and Africans are by race and nature, our origin and the origin of others, what our potential is as an ethnic race, and what we must know and do for survival and well-being as an oppressed and also mistreated human race. This correct information and the other books written by Afroo Oonoo are scientifically known as the science Noone. Be it known. Paragraph 59. Listen to reason. It is true that this presentation of knowledge being spoken is scientifically meant to reach those who cannot read, those who had rather listen than read, and those of us who like to listen as well as read. Listeners and readers, do not just listen and read this vital information as entertainment, but also make a sincere attempt to learn it and understand it, for it is very crucial to our future and welfare. As expressed earlier in this correct information, we Africans by race must create or recreate whatever we need to liberate ourselves from adverse forces such as racial oppression, slums, poverty, disease, one-sided racism, and the ignorance of not knowing ourselves, our potential, the name of our human race, the nature of nature, and the laws of nature, our spiritual and universe science of nature, and what nature indeed requires of us for longer life and better living. Let it be known. Paragraph 60. Listen to reason. We Africans by race need the ability, knowledge, and guidance of sound right reason called NoopooH and our science known as Noone in order to be mentally resurrected from the grave of ignorance about absolute nature and its laws that we must learn and practice for survival and liberation from enemy forces. Sound right reason NoopooH is neither an individual spirit or spirits, nor spirit gods or goddesses. Sound right reason is the best mind of the one supreme being called absolute nature, who is infinite in all directions and eternal. Sound right reason is mind energy of the all in all that emanates from the centers of the suns of the universes and penetrates the persons, places, and things of the universes. Sound right reason changes the atmosphere we breathe and the way we think. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Paragraph 61. Listen to reason. This is happening because of the ending, for sure, of the moon cycle, which is the last 6,000 years of evolution. Sound right reason NoopooH changes the atmosphere for better because NoopooH increases positiveness in the air we breathe, and atmosphere rules by way of spirit beings and other gases and energies, including reason. Moreover, spirit gods and goddesses on the positive side of the negative forces of nature are obligated to aid and help sound right reason NoopooH accomplish what must be done for the mental resurrection and liberation from adverse forces bent on destroying the Ethiopian race further and completely, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Let it be known. Paragraph 62. Listen to reason. Down through evolution, we Ethiopians by race lost our sound right reasonability, our ability to reason soundly and rightly. And progressive reasonability is the main quality and power that distinguishes human beings from lower animals. When a person loses his or her nature ability to reason progressively and soundly, he or she is almost like the lower animal. The descending trend of evolution also meant a descending trend in our mental processes as carkind, while mankind was increasing in mentality. Kinky-haired people are carkind by nature, and it is true that straight-haired people are mankind by nature. These two kinds are opposites by nature. Therefore, one increases as the other decreases in power, authority, and leadership by nature. Let it be known. Paragraph 63. Listen to reason. Reason or reasoning is the mental process of figuring something out. Reasoning is the mental process of finding the correct answer to a question or the right solution to a problem. Reasoning is the mental process of thinking progressively. That is to say, the mental process of being able to go forward from one orderly, sensible idea or thought to another. And therefore, the results of reasoning is solution and creation, law and order. Reason can be the act of reasoning or the results of reasoning or both. Reason is the mental process that creates all persons, places, and things at their beginning, be they artificial or natural, and provides for their reproduction. Let it be known. Paragraph 64. Listen to reason. As the writer stated at the beginning of this presentation, repeats of information in these writings are intentional for the purposes of clarity, memory drill, and emphasis on the point having already been made. Hence, we continue. The creator of the universes and the original persons, places, and things thereof is reason. To be more specific or precise, 9 reasons. The original cosmic reason. All matter possesses what universe scientists call brain news in one degree or another. And this means, of course, that some forms or formulas of matter have more brain newts in them than others, but all matter has them. Brain newts are particles of matter who are magic and magnetic. Brain newts are microscopic and macroscopic, meaning they can neither be seen with the naked eyes nor with the microscope, but we can see with them, taste with them, feel with them, hear with them, and feel with them, physically and emotionally. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Paragraph 65. Listen to reason. The creative powers and energies of absolute nature, the one supreme being, are spontaneous and efficacious, meaning automatic and able to do what is necessary in order to put an entity or organism into creation order. Brain newts in matter are the creator by way of brains and reason. Therefore, we maintain that this combination called brain newts, brains, and reason are the creator of all persons, places, and things. Brain newts in matter are also called the prime mover, and the prime mover in matter is the first particles of matter to make the first move toward putting an organism into creation order. What ignites the prime mover are conditions in matter. That is to say, if all the necessary ingredients for composition or constitution of an organism are present in one place and the temperature is right, the laws of nature go into effect and action, igniting the brain newts of matter, and those brain newts of matter magically amalgamate, magically come together and begin to form a brain. And as the brain formulates, it grows the rest of the organism by the reason it produces by way of brain newts. Let it be known. Paragraph 66. Listen to reason. Since matter, by true definition, is anything and everything that occupies space, then matter is the Almighty, together with space and time. Therefore, it can truthfully be said that matter creates all persons, places, and things via brain newts and brains and reason. Before a person, place, or thing is put into creation order, someone has to decide what form it will take, what formula or material will be used, and what energies are needed to produce the formation. And that someone indeed is reason, who is produced as brain newts melt down by way of brain. It is true that brains are the natural medium for brain newts and reason. It might simplify matter somewhat when the writer states that brain newts are reason in its potential state, and reason is brain newts in their active state. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Paragraph 67. Listen to reason. The brain newts, gods and goddesses, are defined and discussed in Book 2 of Introduction to the Nature of Nature, written by Afroo Oonoo, the philosopher, writer, and messenger of NoopooH, the original prime mover of all the worlds and universes. The universes of absolute nature grew to be what they are, like a tree grows to be what it is. Mundane scientists are sending rockets into outer space trying to find out how the universe originated and how mankind began, although all answers we need to know are right here on planet Earth. And to get these answers, all we have to do is study nature and follow its patterns and examples. For example, if one assumes that plants and animals are limited to grow to a certain size and possess limited powers, then that person has limited his or her thoughts to limited knowledge and limited growth. Let it be known. Paragraph 68. Listen to reason. On the other hand, if one thinks of absolute nature itself as an unlimited or limitless organism of growth with countless members and parts, then his or her thoughts are limitless. Hence, absolute nature is a limitless organism who produces countless other organisms within by growth. Nature creates by growth. Hence, origin of the universe is by conception, gestation, and growth. It is also true that the one supreme being is unique, meaning the only one of its kind, for there is no other. The one supreme being is limitless in distance in all directions and eternal, meaning It had no beginning and can never end, even if it wanted to. Let it be known. End of tape. This transcript is longer than its tape because the transcript continues with more reviews and more additional information.